Hey, everybody, welcome to the Tuesday edition of Winners and Winers Radio. I am your host, Scott Steehn, and I am the lead handicapper over at winnersandwiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwiners.com.
Together, we make up a Winners and Winers Radio. Give us an hour, and we'll give you the winners. No whiners, only winners. That's kind of how we roll. Scott, I know you had some winners yesterday. How was your Monday?
Overall, went very, very well. Play of the day, I ended up having Devontae Adams over 84.5 receiving yards, closed at 87. Didn't matter. He had 100-plus by the end of three quarters. I had a bet boost on Rodgers over 2.5 touchdown passes and the Packers to win at plus 175. Bunch of drive prop winners, which was good for me. And I won fantasy football this week. So overall, pretty good day. How about you?
I told you I was in trouble in fantasy football Thursday night. I was playing my kid in the league that I've been in forever, and he started off. His kicker had 22 points Thursday night, and it's pretty much the way my whole fantasy weekend went. Yeah, it was okay, man. I went 1-1 in the premiums. Had team total under for the Royals. Tristan McKenzie pitched and hadn't given up a home run in about 6 weeks. Gave up 3 to Kansas City, so that was fantastic.
I'm assuming you mean game one for the team total, right?
What's that?
You mean game one of the doubleheader for the team total?
Game one of the doubleheader. So that was no bueno there, although it was nice to see Sal Perez hit number 46 and break Johnny Bench's record, which was Johnny Bench was my hero growing up. When I was playing baseball, I was a catcher, and I had a Johnny Bench glove and everything like that. So that was a good time. So good dude. And Sal Perez, good dude as well. But as far as my picks go, that one didn't go well. We did hit the team total over 30.5 on the Green Bay Packers. And another heartbreaking loss on my free play, Scott. I Jared Goff over 255. I need 10 yards. 10 yards at the end of the game to just get it. Couldn't do it. Missed Swift coming across the middle on the drag on third down, and decided to throw for the end zone on fourth down instead of trying to pick up the 3 yards and keep the chains moving. And that pretty much doomed us. Of course, what really doomed us was him funneling the snap on the first play after the Packers had scored, then dropping the ball when he dropped back to pass on third down, and then, of course, throwing an interception just as they were starting to get rolling on the next drive. So those 3 drives back to back to back absolutely doomed that bet. We still had a chance to pull out the miraculous win at the end, and it did not happen. So premium, again, 50-50. Play of the day, just cold. Just ice cold, Scott. Just brutal. So sometimes you get what you pay for. That's all I'm saying. Sorry, I'm still salty, but it's okay. I'm glad you did well. That's important to me.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, bud. Well, let's get started, man. We got a lot to get to today. Of course, we are going to be coming with our Bet the Farm play a little bit later. We're going to go over our early thoughts on the opening lines for the NFL. Maybe throw in some college thoughts if we have any time left. We'll see how that goes. If not, we'll get to it tomorrow. Had a great topic from one of my commenters. Wants to talk about the 3 best sporting events that you and I have seen in person. So we'll maybe do that maybe tomorrow or Thursday. So anyway, a lot to get to, a lot of fun. So let's let her rip, Scott. Let's find out who followed me on the Jared Goff total. Find out the people that took it in the shorts maybe thought they had a winner right up until the time they didn't. And they got it stolen, Scott. Thievery. That was an action. The only thing what happens when thievery occurs, you got to call them caps. All right, let's get to it. We don't have a lot of time for sirens. Oh, yeah. Here we go. The Blue Jays, first 5 money line going up against the Rays. They led 2-0 going into the bottom of the ninth bottom of the 5th with Robbie Ray, the presumptive Cy Young winner, on the mound. Robbie Ray says, you know what? I'd like to make that Cy Young race a little bit closer. So he gives up a 3-run dinger in the bottom of the 5th. And that's all you needed because the Blue Jays trailed 3-2 after 5 innings. Goodbye, Jays or money line in the first 5. Hello, Robbie Ray. Back to, I don't know, second betting favorite now.
It's going to be close. It seems like nobody wants to actually win the award.
No, they didn't. They wanted to win it up until September 1st. And nobody's like, yeah, but here you go. Pretty much. Robbie Ray had a great start his last time out. So I can't say that.
Yeah. But anyway, looking at the football game, if you had Aaron Jones, the 4 touchdown man, but you took over 68.5 rushing yards, you were in good shape because Jones had 67 rushing yards with 12 minutes and 42 seconds left in the game.
A lock.
Lock it up, except for the fact that you can lock up the under because Aaron Jones had no more rushing yards in the last 12 minutes and 42 seconds, finished with exactly 67. So if you had the over 68.5, he had the receiving yards, he had the touchdowns, he had everything. Rodgers still in the game in the final 4 minutes, but they brought in Dillon instead of Aaron Jones, and he did not get over that total.
That's a brutal beat right there. You needed just 2 more yards in the final 12 minutes of a game that they're way ahead, and they're obviously going to run the ball. That's
also a game where the guy has 4 touchdowns, 3 of them receiving, so he couldn't run for any of those touchdowns. He had to catch them instead.
right. Yeah, that's it'd be one thing if you had DeAndre Swift total over the fourth quarter. You knew he wasn't getting any carries.
Yeah.
But you figure Aaron Jones, squeak out 2 yards there or something. Scott will finish up in the major leagues. You've had the White Sox Tigers over 8.5. Started off extremely well for you. They put up a 6-pack in the first 3 innings, and they put up uno in the last 6. That game ends up 4-3. If you had the over 8.5, I'm sorry. Call the cops.
I'm sorry, there was baseball on yesterday?
I know, buddy. Some good races too, man. It really is. I almost feel like I'm cheating. You know what I'm saying? Because baseball. It's all we did all summer. We have baseball. Now, like, it's the meme with the guy and the 2 girls where he's walking with the one and he turns his head to look at the other one.
You mean this meme?
What's that?
You mean this meme?
But I don't. Okay.
That's when the guy's looking backwards at the person going the other direction.
Yeah. Did you have it somewhere?
No, I was looking back behind.
Oh, okay. Yes. That one. That's exactly the right one. And
okay.
We're walking with baseball, and all of a sudden, football walks by. And
most memes only last maybe a month or 2. I think that's going about 2-3 years strong.
Oh yeah, it's solid because if I've heard of it.
Yeah.
If I'm referencing it, it's way past mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely true. All right, so there was good news out there, Scott. These are some of the nice, easy wins. You didn't have to sweat it. You know what you call it? You're sitting in the rocking chair, baby.
So the first one was a player prop, and it was on Lions receiver Cephas. And if you had over 27.5 receiving yards, he really didn't make you wait that long because on the 3rd play from scrimmage, Cephas caught a 46-yard pass. So you cashed your bet roughly a minute and 10 seconds into the game.
Man, did he put that ball in the bucket or what?
Hell of a throw.
It really was. By the way, if your last name is Cephas, Scott, what are you going to name your first kid?
There's a joke here that I'm missing.
Yes, there is. There's only one answer. The correct answer is Bo.
Oh.
The correct answer is Bo Cephas. That is correct. Hey, Scott, if you had the Orioles-Phillies under 8, God bless your optimism because it paid off. They had 2 runs in the first inning. You're thinking, what am I doing here? And, yeah, that was it. You're a genius. Congratulations because they had no runs in the rest of the game. Orioles win 2-0 over the Phillies. Yeah, the Orioles-Phillies under 8. Man, take a break and just hang out in that rocking chair.
And the last one was also in baseball. If you had the Pirates-Reds over 9.5, you had 9 runs in the first 3 innings. And then you ended up having 2 more in the 5th. Game ended 9-5.
Has there been an under at Great American Ballpark yet this season?
Question: if there's an under but nobody's actually watching it, does it count?
What that is just a confluence of perfect events there with the Reds bullpen and that home run friendly park. A lot of runs get scored. Runs scored in the gab rather. All right, buddy. Well, let's find out who it is. Oh God,
this isn't really based on yesterday's game, but
no. But there was we had a lot going on yesterday, so we didn't get to it. So this is kind of like a little house cleaning here, a little cleanup. This is one that fell out of the bucket that we absolutely have to throw in there. So let's find out who's strapping on the golden feed bag, Scott. I don't even know who it is. See, this is going to be a weird one because I don't know who to send the golden feed bag to. Maybe you've got some ideas as we reward today's donkey of the day. You know what? I'll let you take this one.
So for this one, Once again, we don't exactly know who to send it to, so by default, Roger Goodell, because he's the commissioner of the NFL.
The buck stops here, baby.
Yes, the NFL, which has the fun acronym, which is the correct one, called the No Fun League.
No Fun League, yep.
Not the NFL as a National Football League. But anyway, they decided during the offseason with all of the, ties and overtime and a lot of stuff going on, the number one rule change they needed was to stop taunting in the league. So clearly they had a different agenda than we all had because we think that ties are stupid.
Oh, no, you didn't spin that ball.
But anyway, they decided taunting had no place in the game, so they had to get rid of it. And it had some pretty interesting results in week 2. Also week 1, but nobody really talked about it that much. Week 2, there were a couple of really brutal calls on Sunday. A player got penalized for spinning the ball. You had another cornerback who was doing the classic incomplete sign with the hands going across. That was ruled for taunting. You got a taunting penalty for clapping. And this one got called back, but it was still stupid anyway. Jared Cook caught a touchdown against the Cowboys and did a regular ball spike celebration and got a taunting penalty. Since the touchdown was called back for an illegal shift anyway, they took the penalty off the board. But the point is that for a regular
we saw something within the last week. Was it a college game or a pro game where they had a play like that? And I can't remember what it was, but the play, there was a penalty. It was the
Coastal game.
Yeah, the coach getting mad on the sidelines.
Yeah, it was the Coastal game because they had an interception. Then the Coastal fans, the Coastal teammates, kind of went on the field a little bit, but the penalty, there was a pass interference which overturned the interception. But they kept the penalty anyway, which didn't make any sense.
No.
But anyway, that was in college football. But for the NFL, I get that you want to try to keep these guys relatively robotic. It's an emotional sport. You got to at least let them have a 5-second courtesy rule or something.
Nobody
wants to see this.
No one was out there clamoring going, man, I wish the officials would get more involved with penalty calling.
Listen, I love overs as much as the next guy, but can we at least have them earn 15 yards instead of just handing them out?
Well, because the thing is, it's not necessarily going to help your over because it's usually after a good play, and it ends up backing you out of that good play unless it's a touchdown.
It's on the defense, yeah.
But, well, unless it's on the what I'm saying is if
I get what you're saying.
Big reception down the field for 30 yards, you get up and spin the ball and do the first down thing. And
the way that I see it is that if you're going to try to advertise the stars and all the big plays with the highlights and everything, then you shouldn't penalize the guys for showing some form of emotion. I just think it's stupid.
What do you think about Tyreek Hill and the peace sign?
I think it was good karma that Winfield did it in the Super Bowl, but I think if you let him get 70 yards downfield for a touchdown, that's your problem.
You know what he's done this season, Scott? Have you seen what he's done?
No, is he flipping people off or something instead?
His gloves have on the inside of his gloves where it normally has the Chiefs logo or whatever, it has a picture of a hand giving a peace sign.
That's fun.
So he just sticks up his hand, but it's really the peace sign.
I also got another question for you about the taunting rule.
All right.
So you can call penalties for taunting on, for spinning a ball and for doing the incompletion sign to a wide receiver. Lamar Jackson flipping over into the end zone doesn't count as taunting?
Well, here's the deal, and it's a lot like when I ran the poker room, Scott. You can say, you can drop an F-bomb, you can curse, but if you direct it at somebody, it's an entirely different situation. I'm going to toss your ass out.
But wouldn't you agree, though, that him going into the end zone with 2 minutes to go and just doing a front flip is kind of taunting the entire team? I think it shouldn't have been called.
As a Chiefs fan, I think it all should have been called back.
I think it shouldn't have been a penalty, of course, but if the point you're trying to make is that you're trying to enforce no taunting of any kind, I don't know how Lamar Jackson having a free touchdown and choosing to front flip wouldn't also constitute taunting.
I agree. No,
there's no consistency to
I
be
may
found.
not be
That's
completely objective when you're asking this question, but yes.
Well, the point is that I think that none of these should be called taunting. So I'm overall fine with Lamar flipping over. I just don't know how you can overreact for the entire Sunday, and then as soon as you have a night game, decide to just turn the other way when somebody does that.
Yeah. I
totally
agree. You should write a letter.
I don't care enough. You're the Chiefs fan. I didn't have any action on the game.
Fair enough. Oh man! Quick reminder, everybody, that you are listening to Winners and Winders Radio. Give us an hour, and we'll give you the winners. I don't know if you're watching us. I know we've got a lot of radio listeners. We've got a lot of people that download the podcast. But if you're watching on YouTube, put a comment in there and let me know anybody in favor of the no taunting rule. Maybe
I hated the rule in college, and then they took it over and put it in the pros.
Now, do you think there's a different level in college? A different level of expectation?
I don't see the difference.
You're not playing for money. You're not playing.
Are you not playing for money anymore?
No, you're not playing for money per se.
You know what I mean, though. The point is that everything about college football has kind of shifted, or college sports, in the last year.
Well, maybe if you really wanted to taunt them, you just show them your NIL check if you're a quarterback of the SEC for 7 figures. And go.
The way that I see it is that if you're going to be playing a team sport, and I'm a competitive person, and if you want to, I don't know, let's say demean the other team because maybe they play worse when they're mad, or you just like showing off in their face, that's part of the sport. I mean, that's been around for multiple decades. I just don't know how you're supposed to remove an emotional element from an emotional sport.
Well, you and I kind of touched on this when we talked about baseball and the unwritten rules about showing up the pitcher and watching your home run too long.
And we think that those are stupid.
We came up with a pretty good solution, and I think the solution also carries over into football, Scott. And what is that solution?
I believe it's 2 words. Don't suck.
Don't suck. That's it. If you don't get beat. Don't get beat by Tyreek Hill. Don't let Lamar Jackson have a free run to the end zone where he has time to set up a front flip.
I also think it's funny. It's like the player is not allowed to show up his opponent by showboating, but he can show them up by going for 300 yards. Like, I think it's more embarrassing to give up 300 yards to a player than to have him give a peace sign on his way to the end zone. Maybe
Agreed.
That's just me.
Agreed. You should be happy you're that close to Tyreek Hill that you can actually see the peace sign.
If I was Derrick Henry, I would have taunted the entire Seahawks team in the second half because he had about 170 yards after halftime.
God, I think he's still running.
Yep.
What a beast. And, about the time you think you've got him stopped, he's got, what do you have, 35 yards for the first half or whatever it was.
He just lulls you to sleep, and then you can't tackle him for the final 30 minutes of the
game.
It's
because he doesn't get weaker. The defense gets tired. The defense gets weaker. They get gassed a little bit, and he just seems to get stronger as the game goes on. It is massive. So, all right, this is one we talked about, Scott. Let's find out. The odds makers, man, we called it out yesterday, and, of course, we beat closing line value by a lot. But let's find out, indeed, my friend, why were the odds makers drunk yesterday? All right, like I said, this is a game that we talked about, and it was the Braves going up against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Arizona Diamondbacks haven't been playing for anything since 2007.
I was going to say you can argue for opening day in this experiment, but that's true too.
Right. So we opened that up. And of course, the Braves trying to hold on by the skin of their teeth and win my future. I'm sure that doesn't play into that.
Orioles helped you out though yesterday.
They did. God bless the Orioles. Their 2-0 win. The Braves opened up at -145, Scott, behind Yanoa. Now, Yanoa's been one of our favorites, and not just because of his name, because we always say what, Scott?
Yanoa, you love him.
That's right. But he's actually a very good pitcher. Braves were playing for something. Arizona was at home, which I guess meant something with Mejia on the mound, who'd been not good. And the bettors, they agreed with us, Scott, because they drove this line up to about -185, -189 by the time it closed. What are you thinking at -145? I don't understand the logic here.
So I know when we went through this game yesterday, we briefly disagreed because I didn't have the line in front of me, and you did. I thought Atlanta was going to be -210 when we talked about it. So that's why I thought there might have been value in Arizona. Then you said 145. And
you're like, oh, never mind.
And I just said, never mind. I don't even know what that line is. And then I thought it would close at around 190, -200. Yep. It closed at 190, so I got that part right. But 145. I mean, maybe if you had Merrill Kelly on the mound, or maybe you had Bumgarner, so you have like some talent on the mound. Mejia. Really?
Yeah, I know.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
All right. So usually we save this for somebody that was successful. But today, Scott, I think we have an honorable mention. We're going to find out who was almost almost the gambling hero, and I would have said gambling hero perhaps of the decade. It's a sad, sad story. Let's find out who was oh so close in today's gambling hero of the day.
See, I feel like you could have also fit in the other sound effect because I'm not mad at the guy, but I'm also a bit disappointed. You can really make a case for both of those in this situation.
Yeah, both of those really do work. So if you guys are on Twitter and you follow really anybody in gambling Twitter, you probably know this story. There was a player, and you and I talked about this, Scott, whether you do this or not when you go to Vegas and you take those parlays. There was a player that had a 16-leg parlay. He had every game in the NFL on the money line. So some of them were, minus 300. Some of them were plus 150. He played some dogs. He played, 4 or 5 dogs?
Yeah, I know he had the Ravens. I know I think he had the Raiders in there. Yeah, he had a couple of dogs in there.
Yeah, he had a couple of dogs. So, anywho, you're wondering what a 16-leg $25 parlay plays on the money line, Scott. Well, funny story. It pays $738,000. Now, there was a small problem because to cash that ticket, he needed what, my friend?
He had the Lions money line.
Had the Lions on the money line at plus 400. Or that's what he had it at.
Not the first half money line, by the way. The full game money line.
Was that the most psyched man in America at halftime? I
have to assume so.
Had to be. So he hits the first 15. Of course, you guys know how that game ended up. $738,000. Nope, you're down $25. Great story. Hang on to that ticket and show your kids. That is absolutely brutal. So you and I were talking about this a little bit off the air. If that's you, and I assume it could be you because you said you like to take a spin on some of those wild shot parlays.
If I'm going away for a weekend with a couple friends, right. Yeah, we can split $30 on some get-rich-quick scheme that's going to fail miserably.
Okay. So let's say you hit it. Let's say you've hit your first 15. And by the way, if you wanted to know what the first 15 paid $145,000. If you wanted to, we plugged in the numbers. We found a parlay calculator that went to 16, and we put in the first 15 with the right odds. It would have paid $145,366. But like you said, why do it the easy way? Let's make it really, really difficult and take the biggest spread on the board and take the dog. So would have been nice, but he didn't hit it. So is there a strategy? Because normally you get a big futures ticket that you're about to cash, you get a nice little parlay run going, and you can hedge it. You can usually come up with a hedge that'll, guarantee you some sort of a profit no matter what happens. But Scott, it was Green Bay minus 600 at game time. So assuming you could get your hands on that kind of money, which is highly unlikely. I don't know how many of us could just put our hands on $500,000 cash within 24 hours. Is that your best strategy, Scott? You lay Green Bay minus the 600,000, guarantee yourself $100,000 profit?
Well, I think that's the question that you have to ask, is the fact that.
Well, you came up with a great idea. Hopefully you're at a spot. I don't think MGM does it, but the best option would be what?
To hit the cash out button.
Yeah, if they have an early cash out.
That's what I was going to say, which is I don't know if BetMGM has a cash out option. I know that DraftKings and FanDuel does. So if you're going to take a long shot parlay, make sure there's a cash out option, because the issue isn't even the concept of hedging, which I'm a fan of. The issue is gathering enough actual liquid in order to afford the proper hedge in the situation. I don't know about you. I don't exactly have $500,000 laying around a bank account, so I wouldn't be able to perfectly hedge it. Now, you can make the argument.
That's only part of the problem. The other part of the problem is who is going to let you make that bet? Where do you make that bet in America?
Which bet? You mean just the Packers money line?
Yeah. Where do you lay a $600,000 bet? You think you walk into Caesars with a briefcase and go, I want $600,000?
No, they'd introduce you to the actual manager of the sports book, and you'd have to go through a whole thing.
You'd have to go through a whole thing, and they wouldn't take it.
Correct.
If you're a schmo from off the street with
they might take it in Vegas and maybe select locations, but definitely not the majority of locations on the planet.
I don't think if you're not a known player. If you're a known donkey, then
anyway, let's just say you don't have 600,000. Let's say it's more realistic. Let's say that you want to hedge $150,000.
Yeah.
That's still a lot of money that a lot of people don't have laying around. I know that you can potentially move some money around in bank accounts.
Right.
I'm sure the IRS are going to have a lot of fun watching you move around all your money. Like, there's a lot of other underlying factors when it comes to finding ways to handle a hedge like that. So the question that I had for you is, what was this guy thinking after 15 picks? He's sweating out the entire Sunday and says, you know what's better than a one-day sweat? How about a two-day sweat with a 24-hour gap in between the Ravens-Chiefs game and Lions-Packers? $140-something thousand. And he says, you know what? I don't get out of bed for a $25 bet for anything less than $500,000. Give me Lions money line. Let's go.
145, not even worth my time.
Really? Like, you really just couldn't stop at 15?
That's like the people who go, you want to buy a Powerball ticket? How much is it? What do you care? What do you mean? How much is it? It's more than you have. It's more than $20 million. How much is it? Stop talking. It's the same thing. I agree. Oh man.
I respect the guy's enthusiasm. I'm not exactly sure if he hedged. I don't know the answer to that.
What do you do if that's you, Scott? Where are you watching it at? If you're not at the game, if you're not in Vegas, where are you watching it? Are you watching it by yourself? Are you sweating? Are you freaking out?
I'm not watching it with other people.
You're not watching it with other people?
If I'm going to be in a sweat like that, I am going to need complete concentration. You can have some friends around. You can maybe drink. So if you win, you drink. If you lose, you drink. So at least you hedge that way emotionally.
You've hedged your emotions.
You've had your emotions through liquor, but
I'm drunk. I figure that's going to be appropriate no matter what happens.
I think that we would agree. Maybe it's just me. If I was in a sweat like that, it's just me and the TV, and whatever happens, happens. Maybe that's just how I would handle it. You?
I think I'm probably the same way. I would be too.
I want no interruptions, no whatever. I'm going to sit through this, and whatever happens, happens.
No, and you probably have some friends with you, or maybe your wife would watch or something, and they'd ask some question like, "Why did he do that?" Like, Shut up!
Why didn't he just throw it deep? I'd be a lot richer if he threw it deep on that one.
Oh my God, did he fumble that snap?
I'm aware he fumbled the snap. Yeah, I know. Did Goff just drop the ball on third down? I don't want to talk about it, honey. I'm busy right now.
So this guy lives by the fumble and he dies by the fumble.
Basically.
He had the fumble in the Chiefs game last night. That put him in the position to win it, and then he dies by the fumble tonight, and many other things. He
has friends that start coming over. Why'd you take the Lions? What's wrong with you? And he just wants to slap him in the face.
That's what I want to hear about then, right? Because if you would have taken the Packers, you're probably making what, 200?
That's really the worst, is when people criticize a bet that you make as it's happening or after it's over.
Oh, really?
And it's like, you have all the answers. Like, thanks for giving me some feedback.
Believe me, as somebody who puts up a video every single day.
I can't believe he did it. It was obvious that this team was going to roll. Really? Was it obvious after the game was over?
I get a lot of retro capping. That's what I call it, retro capping.
It's disastrous. And if you're a retro capper, just stop. Just stop. It doesn't help anybody.
When you're really cold. We know we're cold.
Oh, believe me. I got multiple jackets on. I'm aware.
My family knows it. My wife knows it. My friends know it.
My landlord knows it. We all know it.
The waitress at the restaurant that I only tip 15% knows it. Everybody knows I'm cold. It's the way it is. All right, buddy. Any takeaways from that game last night? Green Bay. The news of their demise greatly exaggerated, Scott?
Actually, no. I still think Green Bay was going to win the division anyway because the division stinks. I think Green Bay is arguably the second or third best team in the NFC. However, I really wasn't impressed by Green Bay yesterday. I know that they won the game and they covered and they were supposed to. Detroit moved the ball so easily throughout the entire game, and then once it started raining, the entire team fell apart. So I don't know if the Packers did anything or if Goff just couldn't grip the football.
By the way, if you're thinking of making a comment about Jared Goff over and telling me something about the rain, we actually looked at that. We talked about that. The rain wasn't supposed to start. There was a 50-50 chance at 10 o'clock, which would have been roughly 2 hours and 40 minutes into the game, somewhere about midway through the fourth quarter.
It came about an hour and 20 early.
Yeah, came about an hour and 20 early.
But the point is that I feel like Green Bay was the we're benefiting from the weather because Detroit plays indoors. They're not used to it. Green Bay's used to playing in some disastrous weather situations. But Goff just moved the ball up and down the field for the first 30 minutes, never in doubt. And I think this defense stinks. How is Kevin King on a roster?
Hey, let's find out right after this break. Guys, hang tight. We'll be back to answer that burning question right after this message.
Kevin King on a roster. How do you give up a Hail Mary to Scotty Miller to end the first half? You lose the game, and you decide during the offseason, you know who we need? That guy right there, and you bring him right back, gets torched the entire game.
Although that was a ridiculous scheme that they were playing to give up that touchdown before halftime.
Oh, no, I'm aware of that game, but I'm saying Cephas torched him on the first drive. Swift hurdled him in the third quarter.
That pass was perfect.
No, but I'm saying that the miscommunication in the end zone, though, how he lined up in the wrong spot, he's just a terrible corner. I don't know how you brought him back after that.
Well, the market must have been a little thin. Here we go. All right, everybody, welcome back to the second half hour of Winners and Winers Radio. Give us an hour, and we'll give you the winners. Getting ready to break down the entire NFL board. Our early line thoughts here, Scott. So tell us how Kevin King is still on a roster.
Blackmail? I don't know. Maybe he took a pay cut. The point is I think we'd agree if Green Bay is going to win in the NFC title game or wherever they are, because I know Rodgers' record in the NFC title game is not exactly great. The point is that Tampa Bay has Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. You cannot have a complete liability out there on one of them.
You didn't even mention the guy that burned him.
I didn't even mention Scotty Miller. But the point is that Kevin King, I'm pretty sure he allowed a perfect passer rating in week 1 against him. He didn't look that good in week 2 because Cephas torched him on the first drive. Swift hurdled him. He's just a bad player. You don't have any other corners you can throw out there? Trade for somebody. Do something. King can't play. Am I even being harsh? I don't think I am. He's just not very good.
Okay. So he's only one of the best, 70 cornerbacks in the world instead of one of the best 30? Yeah,
well, let's see. There's 3 corners, 3 main starters on every team. I'd put him somewhere in the 80s, but the point I'm trying to say is I think we'd agree for a professional doing that job, he's not a very good professional.
There are better.
Yeah.
All right, buddy, let's take a look at the board, man. This is, again, these are our first thoughts on these lines. Of course, they will or certainly could change as the week goes on. We had a couple of changes from our early show to our late show, but we'll take a look here at the early lines. We're going to use, by the way, Bet Online, I think, is the ones that we have the best access to. So that's the early lines we're going to use. Your mileage may vary. There could be some different numbers out there, but these are the ones we're going to use across the board. So we're going to start off. Again, we'll go in rotation order: 469, 470. Arizona Cardinals at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bet Online has them at 7.5. There is some 7 out there. 52 is the number. Yeah. Are we not fading Jacksonville? Is this a trick?
I was going to say this line makes absolutely no sense because Jacksonville was really just awful for the first 2 weeks of the season. I know the weather was awful in week 2, which is why the offense was so disastrous in the second half against Denver.
But, did Denver not have to play in that weather?
No, but the point I'm trying to say is that at least Denver has some running game that they try to use. Urban Meyer's just telling his team, throw the ball 40 times in terrible weather. We'll see what happens. But, the point is that Arizona, we know the defense is terrible. It's really not a secret, or it's not very good. We'll put it that way. But they have a good pass rush. I don't think Jacksonville has a great offensive line. Murray should be able to torch this defense for at least 300 yards and probably 3-4 touchdowns.
Oh, Murray. Yep.
I'm going to say Arizona, and I like the over. I think Arizona walks into scoring 35+ in this game.
I'm not sure that's going to be. I don't disagree with that, and I'm not sure that's not going to be to get you over. I'm not.
Garbage time's a wonderful thing.
I'd have a hard time playing an under with Arizona involved, but it's gonna take some garbage time. That's absolutely true.
I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think this game will end 35-21.
35-21.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. All right. Very good. I was trying to see if any.
I mean, the same thing that we saw yesterday in Monday Night Football. We looked at the Packers and just said, they're scoring 35. Like, just looking at the game, like, oh, they're going to score 30 plus.
Yep, absolutely.
It's the way it is.
At Colts at Titans. They're in the AFC South. Big game early in the season, Scott.
Question: did the Colts contact you about the starting quarterback position?
I've got a message. I haven't listened to it yet. I'm assuming that's what it's about. Yes.
Okay, cool.
What happened to their starting quarterback, Scott?
I believe Carson Wentz sprained both of his legs.
Both of his ankles. He's
Yeah.
sprained both of his ankles. Now, I don't believe I've ever told you the story, Scott, and I'll make it quick because I know we got to roll here. But I did sprain both of my ankles at once. However, I was not playing football. I was incredibly drunk, and we were back at my house after a full day of drinking, and I was playing air guitar on top of a couch. I jumped off for the big finale, landed on one ankle, sprained it, came down on the other ankle, sprained that. And the only thing I remember about that is I was like sunburned because we'd been at the boat races at the dam, the big power boat races. I was burnt to a crisp. So I'm drunk, burnt, and now I can't walk. Good times.
You ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
No, man. Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs. That's exactly right. So I feel for him. It's a much more embarrassing story than his, but at any rate, does it matter?
I like Tennessee in this one.
Yeah,
I know the Colts defense is not bad, but you can't expect me to back Jacob Eason. I can't. Eason looked awful last week, but of course they threw him under the fire. I didn't expect much from him. By the way, I know you haven't played in a while, but yeah, here's the Rams defense. You got 2 minutes to go for a game-winning drive. Good luck to you. Like, no, you knew he was going to throw a pick, but Tennessee
and they've got some other problems on the injury front too, because Paris Campbell's questionable, Xavier Rhodes is questionable.
I was going to say the receiving core is still a mess. You look at Tennessee, the offense is very good. The defense we know is not very good, but I think Eason's an equalizer for that because I don't expect him to really air it out. Derrick Henry can easily rush for 120 plus.
Yep.
Julio was great last week. A.J. Brown we know was bad last week, but he's good overall. It's Tennessee or pass. I can't back the Colts with a backup quarterback who maybe shouldn't even be in the league.
Yep, not a chance. And we'll have more information when we do our show about what Derrick Henry has done against the Colts. I don't have it at the tip of my.
I'm going to lean to the under though, which is a bit of a hot take. I'm going to lean to the under at 48, just because I don't know how the Colts are supposed to try to win the game unless they just try to milk the hell out of the clock.
You and me, buddy. I don't know. I don't think I can make myself take an under.
I don't think you can, but I have a hard time taking the over if I think that Tennessee's going to score 30, and that might not be enough because the Colts have Taylor, the Titans have Henry. Worst case is both teams can just run the ball and move the chains. Maybe Colts play time of possession game there. I'll lean under, but I got to like Tennessee in that spot.
Okay. Now, we've got to go away from Bet Online for this one, and it's going to be the Ravens at the Lions. Early line here, and obviously with the game from the Lions not being over all that long, 5 Dimes has it at 10.5. Golden Nugget has it at 9. Those are the only ones on my grid that currently have it. 49.5 is the total on each.
I saw 7.5 about a day ago.
I want to play the. Well, I'm sure. I'm
saying once they saw the Lions play Monday night, they shifted it a 1.5.
And saw the Ravens play Sunday night too. So, you know what? I generally.
I'm saying it was 7 after the Sunday night game.
You saw 7 after the Sunday night game?
Yeah, it was 7.5 after the Sunday night game, and then after the Monday night game, it moved to 9.
Well, I hope you jumped on that. I don't, I'm always going to look really long and hard at home dogs, especially if they're a double-digit home dog.
I'm looking at the total. Just give me the over.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think you're just going to play the over there and hope for some garbage time from golf at the end. As far as the side go, gun to my head.
It's either Baltimore or pass for me. I get the home dog angle, but there's a 0% chance I'm taking a side in this game.
I've got the
over.
I'll lean Lions. I'll zero in when we do our actual show here later in the week.
Yeah. As of right now, just give me the over.
The team at the Bills. Bills are the home team here, and they are 9-point favorites. 46 is the total. That seems a little tall to me.
I think it is, but I don't know if Washington's defense stinks or not.
They shouldn't. They're supposed to be good.
I heard that too before Daniel Jones torched this team.
That was not a good look for that team at all.
I'm going with Washington plus the points, though.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of backing Thursday night game teams in the week after, just for the extra prep time. I think it's a big deal for Washington. And I still think Heineke's good enough to actually, move the ball. I think it'll be a somewhat close game. I think Buffalo's going to win, but I'll take Buffalo by 7.
I just don't think there's a ton of drop off between Fitzpatrick and Heineke. I just don't.
I think Heineke's good.
He's more mobile. I mean, and Fitzpatrick is mobile for his size and his age, but he's not to be confused with actually mobile.
Heineke threw that terrible interception in the fourth quarter, but you can argue he's a better decision maker.
Yep, agreed. He's not going to take as many shots. And it was weird because he was a gunslinger early in his career. Coming out of college, he's a gunslinger, but he's tempered that down. Saints at Patriots, Scott.
Over under 1.5 interceptions for Winston.
Over.
I got to go over too. I think I made a whole case last week about Belichick against a rookie quarterback, and how Wilson was going to look awful. I know Winston's been around for a while, but he hasn't faced a Belichick defense in a long time, if ever. I think they'll come up with some coverages for him.
I agree. Yeah, I got to play Patriots there minus the 3.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Patriots and I'm looking at the under.
I think so. I think we saw what Jameis does against a good defense. Is that Carolina defense better than we thought?
They're good. That's a good unit right there.
I really can you imagine what they'd be with Kuechly?
I don't think teams want to imagine how good they'd be with Kuechly.
Agree.
That would be a top 4 defense in the league if they had Kuechly.
Totally agree. They may be anyway. Chiefs hosting the Chargers.
Over.
The boys in red, 6.5, 56 is the number. I don't care. Yeah.
Over.
Chiefs are 2-11 last 13 against the number.
Yeah, you can make an argument that the Chargers got hosed in the Cowboys game because they had about 4 touchdowns that were overturned by penalties in that game. But something about the Chargers this past year offensively, I really have not been that impressed with the execution in the red zone. Yes, I know I just said that some touchdowns got overturned. Herbert took a brutal intentional grounding there on 2nd and goal at the 5. Whether it was intentional grounding or not, you can't be a quarterback unless you're Mahomes and run around 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You got to make better decisions with the ball.
By the way, Mahomes, he's getting a lot of roasting from the local media about throwing that pass. Do you agree with it?
I think that, you take the good with the bad. And if you're going to have a bad play for every 98 good plays, you take the 1 interception, you live with the rest.
Correct. And, when you saw the camera shot from behind him, you saw what he was looking at. He saw Kelsey there. And you know what? I don't hate it. And you're going to have those. It's going to happen. I can't believe for a guy, Allaire, first fumble in the NFL, Mahomes' first interception in September. They're both getting roasted in the Kansas City media. I think we're a little spoiled here, bud.
I think Hilaire can earn that roasting. I think Mahomes deserves better than that.
You know what? It happens. People fumble. You get the ball punched out. It was a terrible time for it. Shouldn't have been running the ball, but that's another story. I think we covered that in depth last.
I think people are roasting Clyde because he hasn't really done anything since he came into the league, and they took him as a first-round pick. I think that's why, because he really didn't do anything last year either.
Well, I mean, he was all right.
That's what I'm saying. He hasn't
He was a better than average rookie running back last year. You can say he did nothing.
I think he was mediocre at best.
6.5. I'm playing the Chargers here, my friend. They have the Chiefs number. They at least keep it close. This is a 1-score game almost every year.
If you cannot guarantee that the Chiefs are going to get more than 2 stops in the entire game, which I can't,
right?
I can't lay 6.5. Having said that, I'm taking the over.
Okay, fair enough. Falcons at Giants. Giants by 3. Yeah, all day, every day.
Doesn't matter. I said going into the year, Atlanta would be one of the worst teams in the league.
I don't think I'm changing on that one.
Atlanta stinks. They're bad.
That's a juice 3, by the way. By the time we get back to this, it's liable to be 3.5 or 4.
Goes back to my theory as well. I'll back the Thursday night team the week after, and now they're at home.
48.5 is the number. I'm leaning under.
I'm leaning under just because I don't think Atlanta can protect Matt Ryan. I know the Giants don't have a good pass rush or a great one by any means, but Matt Ryan is so immobile, he can't extend plays at all.
Nope. Concrete boots, buddy.
Yep.
Oh, Bears and Browns. Browns home team 7.5, 46.5 is the number.
It's tough because I don't know the status on Dalton. So I don't know if I can really gamble on Fields because Fields was terrible last week. I mean, he almost blew the game entirely. But Cleveland looked pretty underwhelming against Houston. I don't say they only won because Tyrod got injured. That definitely helped because Houston was definitely hanging around. Oh, it's a lot of points.
It really is.
Hold my nose, Chicago, but I'm really not happy about it.
Agreed.
If you think that I'm playing this, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, I like the hook over 7. That's kind of what's tempting to me there.
Yeah, if it was 6.5, I would take Cleveland.
All right, very good. Bengals at Steelers. Steelers 4.5, 43.5 is the number there.
I'm looking at that under, by the way, at 46.5 for the Bears game.
Okay. All right, that's solid. I might play Bears team total under.
Okay, that works.
It'd be around 20 or so. Bengals and Steelers. Steelers home 4.5, 43.5. God, what a division that is. 46.5, 43.5 of those teams.
I'm really torn on this one because Cincinnati, Burrow in the fourth quarter was terrible, yet they almost won the game anyway. Pittsburgh was terrible against the Raiders, and they were really bad for the offensively against the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Big Ben's useless in the pocket. Watching him's like watching Cam Newton right now without the running ability, where you just have nothing. But Pittsburgh always does well against Cincinnati, usually in Pittsburgh. I know Cincinnati won the game late in the year when Tomlin had a classic letdown there. Awful loss. I'll wait to hear about TJ Watt's status for this game because it's still up in the air. I'll lean Pittsburgh, but we both think this Pittsburgh team's not very good because of the offense, and they've kind of proven us right through 2 weeks.
Yinzer Nation, buddy. I think they take care of business there.
I think they should. If they don't, this thing is going to unravel really quickly.
By the way, quick reminder, you are listening to Winners and Winers Radio. Give us an hour, and we'll give you the winners, and we're right in the middle of doing that right now. Dolphins at Raiders out there in the the large Roomba in the Vegas desert, 3.5 points. The Raiders are favored by 4 most other places, by the way.
Are we assuming this is Brissett, or do you think Tua plays?
45.5. He's day-to-day, Scott. Does that help?
I don't know how you can get carted off on a stretcher in your day-to-day. Or you're on a cart. Something doesn't add up there.
Well, they thought the ribs might be broken. So
okay.
Apparently they're not. So it's going to hurt. You're going to put the flak jacket on him and all that. Will Fuller is also questionable for that one. That scares me as well.
Well, we don't even know why he missed the last game. We heard it was a personal issue. We don't actually know what happened.
Right. And as far as Derek Carr, congratulations, he's questionable as well. So we really
he's questionable because he got injured in the fourth quarter, but he stayed in the game, made a couple throws after that. He'll play. He's fine.
Jacobs is doubtful. Cognito is questionable.
I don't know if that matters. They beat Pittsburgh last week anyway.
Well, yeah, that's quarterback situation. I need more clarity.
The Carr is going to play. I'd say 100% chance he's going to play. I think there's no chance he misses.
Not 100% chance.
I'm telling you, he's not going to miss. He's not going to miss this game. But Tua, I don't know what the percentage would be for Tua because that's the tricky one because he has the injury history. What do you think? 50-50?
Yep. I think it's 50-50. I also think I don't care. Who's the backup in Miami? I don't know who it is.
I said, do you think Brissett's going to start?
Oh, okay.
Started off the game.
Yeah. Jesus.
I still don't think the Raiders are very good, but they've looked good enough to beat some teams that are overrated. Miami might be one of those teams as well. They barely beat New England, got pretty lucky from there. I thought Buffalo was going to kill this team. Buffalo killed this team. Miami offensively is just not very good.
How about the Broncos hosting your Jets, Scott? 10.5 of the Broncos are favored there at no longer Mile High, whatever the hell it is.
It's a lot of points, but
40,
it's warranted.
41 is the total. You're going to play
41 of a total, but the spread is 10.5.
So play the Jets team total under again?
That's so brutal.
About 15 or so.
I'll tell you right now, spoiler alert, Denver's going to be my survivor team this week. But I don't know if I can lay 11 there. You?
I'm looking to tease that down to 4.5.
I can't lay 11.5. I just can't.
No,
the Jets can sneak through the back door. They did it against Carolina. The Patriots had a great game plan there. I'm not going to overreact to it. But Denver, Sutton looked fantastic last week. I'm not sure if the Jets can actually guard him or not. But Denver's offense didn't really wow me in that game. I know the weather was a bit of a factor there, but if you think Denver's only going to score 20-something points, I don't think the Jets' defense is that bad
Hard to cover 11.
Yeah, it's hard to cover 11 when you only score 20-something. So I'll lean Jets. Not thrilled with it. I'll lean under, but damn, that game's brutal.
So now we got three really what could be really good games to get through. Let's see. I got to pick up the pace here, buddy. Buccaneers or Rams. Rams are home team. We've got it at -1. There's also some pick 'em out there. 54.5 is the number.
I'm gonna surprise you here. I'm gonna take the Rams.
Okay.
I feel like Tampa's gonna be the obvious square play. How is Tampa pick 'em? Come on, they won the Super Bowl. Whatever. I just feel like it's a good spot for the Rams to get up for this spot. You're playing the Super Bowl champs at home. They're gonna be ready to go. Tampa's kind of just treating this in the long run. It's a week-by-week game, whatever. I think this game means more to the Rams. Give me Los Angeles.
I'll play the under there too. I think the defenses step up a little bit. Two really good defenses. I think that number is an insult to those defenses.
I just think the public's going to be all over Tampa, and if you want to be contrarian, I think the Rams are a good pick.
Tom Brady. Seahawks at Vikings. Seahawks 1-point road favorite. 55 is the number right there.
I'm taking Seattle.
I think you have to.
I know it's basically the same situation where it's a trap line because they're daring you to take Seattle. Seattle always beats this team. It's the most heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss for Minnesota every single year. Missed field goal at the buzzer, Metcalf touchdown at the buzzer. Doesn't matter. Seattle finds a way to win a heartbreaker by like 3 points. I'll take Seattle.
Packers at Niners. That's going to be your Sunday night game. It has the chance to be another classic like last Sunday night's game was. Niners are at home. 4-point favorites. 48.5 is the number there.
I think it's interesting the 49ers are 3.5-point favorites. I agree that Green Bay is still overrated because I'm not impressed you killed Detroit, but I'm not going to go with Green Bay here. I know San Francisco's fared well against Green Bay in the past. We both think that San Francisco arguably got outplayed by Philly last week.
Yep.
I don't think the Niners are that good. I'll take the 3.5 points with the defending MVP.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think I've got to do that as well.
49ers might win, but if you think it's close, yeah, I'll take the 3.5 with arguably the second best quarterback in the league.
There's another good tease if you want to tease that to 9.5 or 10.
Mm.
I think that's a good possibility there. I'll take the over.
I agree.
Monday night, your Cowboys hosted.
No, I thought we saved Monday night.
You're gonna say Monday night?
I mean, we can talk. I thought we always save it.
I don't know. Well, I'm just doing a look ahead.
Look ahead over.
51.5 over. Cowboys by 4. Give me Cowboys and over.
With Brandon Graham out now for the year for the Eagles, that pass rush is going to hurt.
Yep, agreed. All right, there you go. All right, that's our breakdown for the NFL on this coming weekend, starting on Thursday night. So that'll be fun, and we got time for a little bit of baseball. You got one baseball game you like, Scott?
Looking through the overall card,
you got 2 baseball games you like because we already got one scheduled.
I'll go very quick. I actually kind of like Kansas City tomorrow. I know that Quantrill's been pretty good overall since the All-Star break. Lynch has been very hit or miss, but Kansas City has been really, really good in September.
Yep.
And both these teams aren't really playing for much.
Nope.
Give me Kansas City.
All right. Yeah, they swept the doubleheader yesterday, so
it's like plus 130 something. Sure.
Yep, you're getting you're about minus 140, so you're going to catch the roll somewhere around plus 128, 130.
Yeah, that's fine.
I want no part of that.
I can say I'm a huge fan of the play, but I think there's value with it.
I like Quantrill. there, and
well, Lynch isn't very good. I'll admit that.
He's got his moments. He's going to be good, but he ain't quite there yet. So, all right, my friend. I don't hate the. I don't hate Houston on the run line either with Urquidy over Naughton, Packy Naughton. It should be somewhere in the neighborhood of minus 125, minus 130 on the run line there. 8.5 total.
Yeah, sounds right.
I like Houston.
I'm looking at the dog for Seattle with Gonzalez on the mound against Blackburn. Blackburn's been okay. I mentioned it yesterday, though. The Mariners just own this team. I believe they're 9-4 now head-to-head, and they're still getting plus money. I'll take
Yep.
Seattle.
Yeah, you got to. Oakland had been playing really good ball, and then all of a sudden, here comes Seattle again. And
if you're favored over a team and you've lost 9-13 against this team, I have to blindly take the plus money every time.
Okay, fair enough. All right, bud. Well, it is that time, the time where we put our heads together, come up with our very best play of the day in a little segment that we do here each and every day. Scott, it is time once again to put on that straw hat, climb aboard to your John Deere tractor, and fire that bad boy up. Get ready, America. It is Bet the Farm. All right, Scott, how did we end up yesterday with our farm play?
We had the Lions and Packers over, and the game went over.
Very nice. Very nice. We haven't heard that song enough here the last few days. Nice to get back on the winning side. So we're going to take another play in the world of baseball. We're looking at the Cincinnati Reds as they square off with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Reds team total over 4.5 minus 125 at BetMGM. By the way, God bless you, BetMGM. I'm thinking about moving to a state where they offer that. That is just some really good numbers there. So they've got 5 more meetings left. Scott, they've met 14 times so far this season. The Reds have scored at least 5 runs in 10 of those games. Mitch Keller is wheeling and dealing for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He has not done well against the Reds this season. ERA of 8.78. No bueno at all. And by the way, in this series, the over 5-1 the last 6 meetings there at the Great American Ballpark. We like the Reds still fighting for a playoff position against the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are still fighting for a good spot at Primente Brothers. We'll take the Reds team total over 4.5.
Yeah, the Great American Ballpark, Keller pitching. I gotta like the spot.
Keller's been, I guess, better. He was kind of an auto fade early in the season. He's kind of righted the ship a little bit, but
Reds have just owned him. That's just why I'm looking at it.
The Reds, he is over his career. He is the Reds have been a Keller killer. Nice. It's totally unrehearsed. Can you believe that?
I like it. We're gonna use that from now on.
The Keller killer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. So that's going to wrap it up, man. We got through a lot today.
Yes, we did.
Very good, guys. And of course, we appreciate it if you're downloading our podcast, if you'd rate and review all that good stuff, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're commenting, all that stuff. If you're listening to us on the radio, now just don't crash your car, so you can listen to us again tomorrow. See, we got all the bases covered. Should be a fun week. Should be a fun day. So for myself and for Scott Reichel, for the whole team over here at Winners and Winers Radio, we appreciate you checking us out. As always, we wish you nothing but the best on all of your plays. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money when you head back to the window. You guys have a great day. Thanks for checking us out one more time, and we'll see you next time on Winners and Winers Radio. Take care, everybody.